Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingrid Jones, and welcome to this rather spontaneous video. I felt the need to do the video because there's a few things on my mind I want to talk about. And before I talk about them, also, I have this little box here that was sent in the post to me today by my dad. It's actually a new camera. So what I'm going to do tonight is actually install this new camera on this computer. So therefore we may get even a better picture tonight. I'll see my camera is designed to work well tonight because it knows on its way out. So it's a webcam. It's a Ostem webcam, HD 1080p. My dad got it for me via Amazon. So it says that it's multifunctional. It's got a hook to it. It's got low light sensitivity. It's got a microphone to it, and it's good for video chatting. So they say. Okay, so that's going to be part of my show tonight. So I'll be doing this and opening this up and having a look at this. But that's not really. That's one of the things I wanted to do. So good evening to Flex and Honest Bob. I appreciate, Flex, that you are the first in the room, and appreciate that you watched the interviews with Bashir, and thank you very much for that. And thank you to anyone and everyone who's been watching our recent interviews. September has been a big month for us so far in BaylorIC, breaking exclusive interviews here, there, and everywhere, getting the main news in boxing before the mainstream media gets there. We're getting the news. We're speaking to the people that matter in boxing. And we're not doing repeats. We are giving you fresh, up-to-date news, unbiased, and that's something we pride ourselves on. And we're not giving you 5-minute sound bites. We're giving you information that you can go back, you can take to the bank, and you know, we pride ourselves on that. And I hope that you've enjoyed the coverage. So what I'm going to do first is, I've got this box with me, so what I'm going to do is open this box up and install it live, and then you can tell me afterwards whether my laptop camera is good or whether this is any better. So here we go. Have a look at it. Open it up. First time I opened it up, wife wanted to know what it was today and didn't have any idea what it was. Something a little different today, you know, the same old boring stuff, you know. Thought I'd let you into it because people want to know about camera quality and all the rest of it. So here we go. This is it. Just taking it out of this box. See all these unboxing shows before, and see people unboxing this stuff. So for the price, I think it costs, the actual camera costs just under 40 quid. I had one before. I did 930, which was top of the range camera at the time. I've got this one now, and look at that. See that there? Little clip, the back, quite nice. The actual moves back and forth. Okay, so I'm just going to click that on. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to click it in and see how it goes. All right. So I haven't gone anywhere. I'm just going to keep talking. See. Okay, click on here. There we go. It's on top of the actual thing. I'm going to stick it in. Plug and play means you stick it in the old USB port, and there's no disc that comes with it. So if it accepts my USB port, at the moment the USB port is saying no. It's the okay. Now I've plugged it in. That's a good sign. Good sign. And it's got it's installing. So we'll just see how that goes. So while it installs, it seems decent of camera. How you doing? I'm good, brother. I'm very good. How are you? Is this the Tyson Fury, or is this just somebody using the name Tyson Fury? Either way, I'm glad to see you're on the channel. At the moment, I'm just installing the camera. I'm showing you on a camera. And I'm also talking about the fights this weekend. Okay, I'm going to talk about some things that I've seen in boxing recently that quite disturbing. First and foremost, a lot of people detracting of Canelo, saying he's this and he's that and he's this and he's that. But it's quite funny. The same people who've been saying all these nasty things about Canelo are the same people that are covering him and giving him loads of coverage. If you don't rate somebody, if you don't like somebody, if you don't agree with somebody, if you don't like a way a person's moving, why are you giving them coverage? But everyone's giving Canelo coverage. But oh, Canelo's this. God, Canelo's lost my respect. Yeah, but you're going to tune in and watch him fight Liam Smith, right? So I've got no time for that. Second thing is, so that is the first thing. And, you know, there are other fights, like Usyk's fighting this weekend against Golovkin. It's a top fight. It's a much more competitive fight than Liam Smith against Canelo. You know, but people are all up in the Canelo fight, Yet Canelo, oh, he should be fighting Gennady Golovkin. Oh, Canelo's ducking Golovkin. But people are watching that. Okay, that's people's opinions and people's thoughts. But, you know, in boxing, I understand that people say one thing, you know, but the thing is, what I've noticed in boxing is that people are like, a lot of people are like sheep. They have to be told what to do or what to watch or who to listen to. They haven't got opinions of their own. So therefore, you know, we break exclusive after exclusive after exclusive after exclusive after exclusive after exclusive. And then people ask me the silly question, is it confirmed? I mean, you know, sometimes I understand that, but I mean, other times I don't get it. You know, also, for those people who didn't know, I've now qualified journalist now. So for whatever that's worth, the people are saying to me that, and I say that just rather tongue in cheek, because people say to me, well, you know, Ingram, you've got your qualification, but you were always qualified. You know, you're always good at reporting and stuff like that. So I can't tell you that I'm a pen and paper man. Back in the day, I was a pen and paper man. I'm not a pen and paper man, really. I like getting around. I like using the camera. I like talking to people. I used to do lots of blogging before, but you know, for me, I like the video stuff. I love face-to-face talking to people. I always have done, always will do. But again, like I said about this whole sheep thing, people can't think for themselves. They need somebody else to tell them what to do, what to watch, who to support. You know, and if you say anything, like if you don't do things the way people expect you to do things, if you don't get in line and do things the way people expect you to do things, then somehow or the other you're different, you're unique, and therefore it's not the norm. You shouldn't do it. Like I've had people tell me I should do it this way, I should do it that way, but I've noticed the people who are telling to do the things, they're doing the same things all the time. Consistency is great, but consistently being the same as everybody else does. Now, right, I do believe now the camera has been installed. So I'm going to try and click on this, and it's there. And let's see. You guys can tell me what you think. Ooh, look at that. Come on, tell me. Is that not better? Is that not a better camera? That looks really good. Come on, your thoughts, people. Let me hear your thoughts, people talking about the camera. I think, personally, this camera looks... I'll put this back now. But my gosh. I don't know why it's zoomed in like that, but if I can kick the zoom out of it, then we'll have a... Let me see if I can adjust this thing here. Maybe if I can take this... Oh, maybe I can take this off. There we go. I'm taking it off. Oh, come off. Off. There you go. Maybe I can adjust things like this. Oh, put there. Put that up there. Put that down there. Wow. I'm trying to get this new camera adjusted. And come on, people, what do you think? I tell you something, for what? Under 40 quid? This camera looks really good. The picture's really good. So shout out to the new camera. Pictures quality is pretty good. Very clear camera. Looks pretty good. So the name of the company for those people interested, and it was less than 40 quid. I got it for. Get this here. Yeah, again, that's the name of the company. You can see it here. Austin web camera, HD, 1080p. You can get it on Amazon at the moment for, I think, just under 40 quid. And this actually is better. This quality of this camera is better than the one I got for the I think it's the 930. And it was Logitech. And it was better than Logitech, which was considered the best camera in the webcam in the world at the time. So, you know, I think quality's good. So it's Tyson Fury 69 on Twitter. You know me, Team Lucy. Yes, good to see you, mate. HD 720. Well, it's 1080p, Graham, and it's much better. I agree, it is much. It's a much better camera. So those people that were there or who are here now, you can see it, and it's. And I've got to try and work the zoom out, and I don't know why it's so zoomed in so much, but if I can get that adjusted somehow, we will get sorted. Right. So now we've got the camera up, and we've got our new camera. A few things I want to talk about more. One of the things that this weekend, it's a BaylorIC TV, and I'm not blowing a trumpet here. I'm just stating a few facts. I want to take you back a few years. Terence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Bermane Stiverne, Tyson Fury. All guys who have been a part of BaylorIC TV. Bryant Jennings, apart from Bryant, of course, have all gone on to become world champions. And we followed these guys before they became world champions. We followed these guys before anybody was interested in them. The Terence Crawfords, the Keith Thurmans. These guys we followed. I've given coverage to. We've seen them develop from, I don't know, just, you know, guys turning pro to actually guys that have gone on and become world champions. And I can tell you something now. It is the greatest feeling watching a guy's progress from the start of their career right through to the point when they become a world champion. That is a great feeling. And when you've covered that story, even when you've thought to yourself, I'm not sure tonight, and you've backed against them, not because you didn't believe in them, but you just thought that the guy that they were going to fight was maybe better than them. Like Terence Crawford, I backed Terence Crawford. I didn't have any doubts about Crawford. Didn't have any doubts about Thurman. I started to have my doubt. I had doubts about Fury, the way he was fighting and getting knocked down. The Cunningham fight obviously was something that, you know, had alarm bells there. But we all knew that he didn't have his cousin, his uncle in the corner. Then we had the fights that you could see he was improving as a fighter. And the Chisora fight, I just thought he was vulnerable to the overhand right, which I said to his face. He showed by turning southpaw, took the right hand completely away from Chisora and beat the crap out of Chisora. And the Klitschko fight, I said to everybody, I believed he'd beat Klitschko. And he went on and did the business. So it was great. A great feeling when you've been there and you've actually followed the story through. And, you know, that fighter that you followed through has become a champion. And it's much to say that on Saturday night, Alexander Usyk challenges for the WBO Cruiserweight Championship of the world. And that's the fight that, I'm being honest, that I am totally biased. And that's the fight that I'm very interested in watching. Alexander Usyk, only 9 fights. Can he become WBO Cruiserweight Champion of the world? 9 fights. You know, a tremendous amateur pedigree. And Bashir now taking him on as a pro. The criticisms have been that maybe Bashir and Usyk's team have taken a fight too soon against Golovkin, or I keep saying the name wrong, Golovkin, as that's how I got to pronounce the name, Golovkin. So to my Polish people who watch from Poland, it's Golovkin, and I'm getting it right. Thank you very much for that. Can he do it? For me, Bashir is one of those trainers that doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. And he's been in the Klitschko camp for many years. He's trained like some Monty Barrett. He was around Emmanuel Stewart and worked with Emmanuel Stewart and Emmanuel Stewart often confided in Bashir, and Bashir confided in Emmanuel Stewart. So why Bashir doesn't get the respect he deserves. He speaks his mind. He says things that politically a lot of people don't agree with or don't like, but you've got to understand where Bashir's come from. You've got a guy, this is a guy that was around the civil rights movement. So for somebody who marched and stood for what they believed at that time, and they were on the streets marching for what they believed in then, that man's he's a warrior back then, and he's still a warrior today. So of course he's going to be forthright and speak about things that are in the sport of boxing. Gives a lot of wisdom. I've learned so much about the sport, and I've got so much more to learn under Bashir. One of the key factors and one of the key points I want to talk about tonight is the fact that Bashir brought Banks into camp to spar with Klitschko. This is not stories, it's a fact. Emmanuel Stewart didn't want Banks in the camp. Didn't want him. So Bashir said, okay, you know what? Emmanuel Stewart said to him, I don't want him in the camp. And Bashir said, look, I will take him and he can be in the same accommodation as me. That's how Banks got into camp as a youngster, sparring with Klitschko. Okay, preparing Klitschko for a bout. And that's how Banks got in and became part of Team Klitschko. So when Emmanuel Stewart, bless his soul, and rest in peace, the great Emmanuel Stewart. When Emmanuel Stewart passed away, Bashir was the natural heir to the throne, the guy that would have been next in line for Klitschko, to train Klitschko. And that was the case until Klitschko said, you know what, I'm bringing Jonathan Banks in instead. And for whatever reason, and that reason has never been quite revealed, but it seems that Banks is more of a, I don't want to use the word yes man, but he seems more receptive to Klitschko, and from the outside it looks like Klitschko is controlling things and he's telling his trainer what to do. I don't know how true that is, but fact of the matter is, if Bashir taught Banks all that he knows, what can Banks possibly be giving Klitschko? So, you know, and now it all comes around kind of full circle. Another Ukrainian, another Olympic gold medalist. Now in 2016, this weekend, could Bashir finally get his first world champion? Bashir has said on many occasions he's had fighters that have been maybe not been unbeaten when they come to him, or Olympic gold medalists. He hasn't had that. He hasn't had that rub of the green. Bashir has always had fighters that have been good quality fight, good talent, standard, good fighters, good talent. But dedication, he said, has been something that a lot of the fighters he's had, he hasn't had the dedication. And he said in Usyk, he's got that. So it would be fantastic for Bashir to get that world title with Usyk and become a world championship trainer. That is the only thing we're missing on Bashir's resume. But what a story it would be on Saturday night should Usyk, you know, become WBO champion. I mean, it's not just about Usyk becoming WBO champion. Of course, he's proven the critics wrong. He's taken on a fight with only 9 fights, but at the same time as well, for Uncle Bashir, the opportunity for him to be a world a trainer with a world champion, that would be fantastic. And I just think that it's, you know, it's something that I think quite deeply about, and quite quite a lot about. Somebody saying, oh wow, high definition curtains. You're a joker. Honest Bob 45. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the whole Bashir thing. I hope he does. I really do. I really hope that Bashir and Usyk can go on, prove the critics wrong, and become WBO cruiserweight champion of the world. In talking to Tom Loeffler, I said to him look, Tom, you know, at the moment that we can't see that fight between Usyk and Golovkin. Said that it'd be a shame that Golovkin and Usyk is not on Sky. And before we know it, Sky signs the deal. And now we have Usyk versus Golovkin, which is a great fight. It's a great fight, and all I can say is tune in. But BaylorIC TV are proud to be a part of the journey, are proud to get the exclusives before all the mainstream media, and we'll just keep on doing that. So for those of you who missed it, this is the camera I got. Webcam HD 1080p. It's very good quality, very good quality. So that's about it. New camera, and yeah, don't forget to check out the interviews we've got there with Michelle Joy Phelps, Michael Buffer, Eddie Hearn, Alexander Usyk, James Ali Bashir, and Kieran, the HBO presenter, Kieran Milani. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's on there as well. We've got Tom Loeffler. Yes, there's some nice goodies and some nice interviews there, so check them out. Let's see what else. Is there anything else I've got to say before I end? I think that's about it, really. Nothing more to say. All the best for Mr. Smith on the weekend, Liam Smith. I just think that at this point in time, Canelo's going to have too much for him, and I believe that Liam Smith's going to put up a good fight, but I just think that Canelo's just fought the higher class and fought with better opposition over a longer period of time. I just think Liam Smith will put a brave challenge, but I think he's going to get outworked and eventually stopped by Canelo. Those are my thoughts. I just think that Canelo's going to have a much better punch variety. I think he. I think when you jump, making that jump from, you know, a certain level, I think it's the jump between European and world, and then you've got, for me, you're in world level, but you've got to be fighting around the world level. So this is one of those British world champions that you know, how good is a British world champion? This is where we're going to find out on Saturday night. How good is a British world champion? Liam Smith is what I consider a British world champion, in the sense that you've got a world title, you're from the UK, you haven't fought anybody in the top 10 for your world title, or you know, you're now facing somebody for your top 10. He's a title holder at the moment. He's not a champion. He's a title holder, in my opinion. Should he defend his title and beat Canelo on the night, then for me, he's a champion. You know, those are my thoughts on that. But I just wish Beefy all the best. I hope he does well. Don't forget Adam Mouthwatering Smith. Oh yes, Peter, of course. Good to see you in the room. Yep, we've got mouthwatering Adam Smith. I couldn't resist but asking about how many times his mouth waters. Everybody his mouth waters. He had the mouth-watering clash between Anthony Joshua and Dominic Brazil. The mouth-watering clash between Anthony Joshua and Jason Gavin. Mouth-watering clash between Scotty Cardell and whoever else. Yeah, mouth-watering. Am I going to do a post-fight? Come on. Am I going to do a post-fight? Of course I'm going to do a post-fight. I want to try and do some commentary on this fight between Usyk and Golovkin. I see Golovkin. I keep seeing Golovkin, but it's Golovkin. Gotta get it right. Pronounce the man's name right. So yeah, I am gonna do a post fight for sure. Have you seen our last our show yesterday? I think it was really good getting people from America to join in. It's always good to have international flavor. It was good. I enjoyed it. Love to know what you people think of that as well. And what do you think of the interviews? BaylorIC stepping out and getting some interviews. A recent press conference. Like I said before, I don't usually do press conferences. I'm not a fan of them, but it had so many big names there. And people say, well, you should have interviewed Brook. You should have interviewed Golovkin. I should have done. Maybe I should have done, but I don't know. I always get them. So I can always get them. So next time I'll get them. But I hope you enjoyed the Eddie Hearn interview. That interview for me is the interview that really mattered to me, the Eddie Hearn interview. Getting to talk to Eddie Hearn and ask him the questions that you, the boxing fans, wanted answers to. So any suggestions for BaylorIC TV? As you can see now, we now have an HD camera. The camera before was meant to be HD, but this is HD now. Just any suggestions you can have. I am still in the process of upgrading and building and developing. So bear with me. We've got the camera. That's a start. More things to come from BaylorIC. If there's nothing else anybody has to say, any comments to be made, there's only one Tyson Fury, of course. Ingram, have you got the smell of bullshit off you yet? Being that close to her speaking. That's a high definition laugh now. You know, being next to Eddie Hearn, I have never, in my years of interviewing somebody, been prompted in an interview. Here's an example. I'll say, "Hi Eddie, how you doing?" And he just sits there. And it's like, okay, well, ask me a question. So I ask him the question. Then he answers the question, and then he goes. So he actually forces you to ask him questions. It's an interesting situation because he came out from the start. It's interesting because for him to, his first few lines to be, you know, basically, these are his words, "I'm a bit of a bullshitter. I'm a charismatic bullshitter." That's basically what he said. Now, for him to start his conversation, in the first conversation we've had together, for him to say, "I'm a charismatic bullshitter," that tells me he damn well knew who was going to be interviewing him, and he knew that I'd be asking him some hard questions. And we spoke about intellectual property, which was interesting. He was able to, I thought that would stump him. He was able to spin out of that quite nicely. Hearn's a very interesting character. He's certainly somebody I would like to kind of, you know, probe a bit more, certainly, because he is the #1 promoter in the UK now, without a doubt. So he's definitely somebody I'd like to probe more, for sure. What is he like when the camera isn't on? Just a normal everyday guy. He's a tall guy. Must be in between 6'3" and 6'5", Eddie Hearn. And yeah, he just seems like a geezer, just a lad, you know, a lad that's professional, has a job to do. That's it. Is his hair real? That quiff hasn't moved on 5 years. I think, I'll tell you something. I did manage to spot the makeup lady at the back of the press conference in the corner, like, right, who are you here for? So I figured possibly it's maybe for those people that are on TV, but I think that's a makeup job, definitely, with Eddie Hearn. Vane, I'm not sure about that, but I think he knows. I think he knows Eddie Hearn. I think he's grounded enough to know that he can bullshit some people, but some people he can't bullshit. That's what I think. I think he's one of these people that if he can get away with bullshitting to you, he'll bullshit to you. And if you can look, if he knows when he looks down at you, he looks at you, you ain't gonna take the bullshit, he's not ain't gonna bother. That's what I picked up from Eddie, and that's just being in his presence and being around him. Very charismatic, very personable. Darren Stevenson, what's the crack with Saunders? Is he gonna man up? Okay, Billy Joe Saunders, listen, I had this conversation yesterday on my show. We've met Billy Joe Saunders on a number of occasions now. First of all, down-to-earth guy. In fact, too down-to-earth, because that's his problem at the moment with Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders made a comment. If you remember, Saunders made a comment that Golovkin would beat him and Eubank on the same night. That's being too damn honest. Even if he believed it, boxing fans won't let that go. Saunders, even if he believed it, should have kept his mouth shut and never said that comment. Because ever since he's made that comment has stuck with him. And I believe he's going to stick with him until he fights Golovkin. And even when he goes to fight, before he fights Golovkin, media going to press him on that question. Well, I'm damn well going to ask him, you know, what kind of a fighter says things like that? But what it really is about Billy Joe Saunders, to be honest, is he's just basically saying, look, I know how good I am, and I think that Golovkin beat the pair of us. Maybe he's not trying to elevate himself, but I don't know. Even if you believe it, even if you think it, don't speak it out in front of boxing fans. Don't, because what sort of message is that sending out to other boxing fans, people that support you and believe in you? You've made a comment like that, and if you're a Billy Joe Saunders fan, and I like Billy Joe, and you're sitting down, you're watching a press conference, and you're watching Billy Joe talking and watching everything he's saying, and you listen to every word he says, and then he says something along the lines of, well, Golovkin would beat me and you in the same night. That doesn't bode well for the future. That doesn't make me want to believe in you. Even if Saunders has got all the skills in the world, he's got all the skills in the world. In my mind now, I'm thinking, do you really believe you can actually beat Gennady Golovkin? Question Darren Stevenson's asked is, does Saunders have the power though? Good question. He dropped Andy Lee hard. He dropped Andy Lee twice. I think speed, timing is key. I think Saunders put his punches together nicely. He knows how to get out the doors, meaning slipping to the left and slipping to the right. I think Saunders is a better boxer than Kell Brook. I don't know if he's got a better chin than Kell Brook, but to me, Saunders looks like he's got a very good chin. My questions about Saunders is, as you've seen in every bloody fight of Billy Joe Saunders, after about 5 or 6, he stops, he stands still, and he wants to have a tear up. When he does that, that is Golovkin's time to really put it on Saunders. How big a punch is Golovkin? Well, no, he didn't knock Brook out. If that's anything to give Saunders any sort of confidence in. That, don't know. Talk of the town was that Golovkin wasn't well. I believe Golovkin's struggling at middleweight. I really do. I really think he's struggling at middleweight. And I believe Abel Sanchez, when he says he'll be a better fighter, is 168. Yep. Jordan Wright says Saunders will do well until he starts gassing and GG walks him down. I totally agree with you, Jordan. And that's the problem. How do you train a fighter to beat GGG? At 160, it seems his chin is good to stop him coming forward, pinning you on the ropes and teeing off unless you have one in a million power. No, I believe that Golovkin, if I'm training a fighter to fight Golovkin, there are some simple rules. Simple rules that need to be executed. This is a top level fighter now. Simple rules that need to be executed. Rule number 1. When he bangs his gloves together and he's saying, smash him in the mouth. Well, when he does this stuff and he's bang straight right hand, down the pipe every time. You hit him and you look at every time you watch Golovkin fight. Somebody smashes him with a good shot. He smiles, he looks at them. And then people just look at him like they're surprised they're landing punches on him. What isn't the aim of boxers to hit and not get hit? Land your shots. If he does that, throw a couple more and get out. Get out the side door. What I mean by get out the side door, it means you don't fight him straight on. You throw your shots and slip to the sides. Exit from the sides. That's the first thing you must do when you fight Golovkin. Exit at the sides. So that's a lateral movement. Don't pull straight back from punches. Kell Brook, in terms of fighting off the ropes, Kell Brook is terrible when his back is against the ropes. But I've said this over and over again. So you've got to throw bunches and punches with Golovkin. 2-3 shots and away. Okay, a nice stiff jab. And another thing, I don't believe Golovkin can fight off the back foot. I don't. I believe if you push Golovkin back, you get your shoulder on his chest, okay, and push him back, which means you've got to be physically strong enough, and push him back. The momentum of his power of his punches is not the same. Curtis Stevens showed that. You've got to keep him on the back foot. Stick that jab in his face and push him on the back foot. And don't allow him to set. So as soon as Golovkin sets, like you throw the jab. As soon as he sets to start loading up out the side doors or tie him up. Do not stand right in front of him and try to have a tear up. Bad idea, because you're allowing him to have the momentum to let the shots go rip. And I believe that's the same strategy you've got to use against Kovalev, which is you've got to use lateral movement. And if you're going to fight the guy, get up close on his chest, and be landing shots on the inside. And as you notice in Golovkin fights, Golovkin is vulnerable to the uppercut, which makes me believe his inside game isn't the greatest. Adam Scott says, #1 welterweight versus #1 middleweight, 71-0. All true statements from Eddie Hearn, but when analysed, meant nothing, absolutely nothing. Of course, all his job is to bullshit and sell you the fight. He admitted on our show, he's a bullshitter. He's a bullshitter. And he said it himself. I'm not coming out and saying, oh, Eddie Hearn's a bullshitter. He said it himself. That's somebody who's looking in your face saying, yep. And as Frank Murley once said, at least Jack the Ripper wore a mask. Eddie Hearn's telling you, look in your eye and saying to you, I'm a bullshitter. And he's got no ways about it. When you see DeGale and his tendencies to take rounds off lying ropes, do you think he beats Golovkin? Look poor against Medina, in my opinion. Do you something. First and foremost, DeGale's fought in the year. He fought Butte, he fought Durrell, and he fought Medina. I think that's a damn good year for DeGale. That's 3 top-level fighters. Let me ask you a question. This talk about Callum Smith being one of the best in the world. Who the hell has Callum Smith fought? I've said this before. Stick Smith in the ring with Medina. Let him beat Medina and let's see what he's about. How can you be ranked in the #1 in the world and you ain't fought nobody of substance? Absolutely nobody. Nobody. Oh, get out of here. Your point about DeGale, I agree. DeGale does, like Billy Joe Saunders, has a habit of standing and trading. I think DeGale's got a very good chin. I think DeGale takes a shot pretty well. I think he's, you know, he soaks up punishment well, but he's got to be boxed. He's got to be moving like he did in Olympics. He's got to be moving. He's got to be moving. He's got so DeGale, what you have to do is, as Golovkin moves him around the ring, before Golovkin gets in set to throw shots, that's when you crack him. And as he's going to set again, away. As he goes, before he goes to set, hit him. So you've got to hit him before he sets. If you hit him before he sets, fine. Tie him up, push him back against the ropes. Watch how Evander Holyfield fought Tyson. Holyfield, what he did was he tied Tyson up and he pushed him back against the ropes. He roughed him up on the inside. When Tyson didn't want to fight, that's when he fought. So that's the way I believe, like how Holyfield fought Tyson, that's how you've got to fight a Golovkin. Back him up and beat him up. And use the exits unnecessary. And if you can't exit, tie up. But for God's sake, don't stand straight in front of the man and pull straight back from punches, because he's going to clip you with the left hook. Is there any whispers of how much Saunders wants for his belt? No idea. No idea whatsoever. But knowing Billy Joe Saunders, he's not going to accept it for peanuts. You want to get paid well. Did you see in person any of Golovkin's pad work? Does the power seem that special in person? Okay, I wasn't at the pad work session, but I had a call from Spencer Ferron, and I can tell you this much. Spencer said those punches were thunderous. Okay, so I'll take Spencer's word from it in this situation. Those punches were thunderous, and as Abel Sanchez has told me over and over again, Gennadi's not even punching with full power. He's just looking for accuracy. So take what you want from that. You know, he did look very raggedy, Golovkin, but I just think that he just felt, you know what, he's a welterweight. He can't hurt me. I'm just going to walk him down. Have you heard of the small glove scandal that's been mentioned with Gennady Golovkin? Yes, I've heard about the small gloves scandal, but look, all right, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. I'll put it this way: there was a big talk about the fight, and had it gone to points, they would rob Golovkin, and there's no reason for me to believe otherwise. If you look at the scorecards and what Eddie Hearn was saying, well, Brook was up on my scorecard. Really? Okay. It was up on the judge's scorecard, so the fix was in if that fight had gone to points. So, small glove scandal. If there was a small glove scandal, really, in the UK, Gennady doesn't command yet. He's building it A-star power. He's getting there, but he's not A-star power, I don't think yet. A-star power, I mean, he's got power in his fists. I mean, A-star personality, that stuff, yeah, he hasn't got there yet. He's not a crossover international superstar yet, but they're building into that. And I believe that if there's a small glove issue with Gennady Golovkin, should they gloves not be checked? I spoke to Alberto Leon. He's the supervisor for the WBC, and he checked out the gloves. He checks the gloves, and he's a supervisor. So I don't buy into the small gloves unless you yourself have seen those gloves and you've been right up close, fight time, have seen the gloves and compared the gloves. You can look it on tape, but I want to see up close, so I wouldn't buy into the scandal too much. I trust the WBC, and pity for all the fool for Dominic Ingle and Kell Brook's team if they've allowed Gennady to have smaller gloves. So any idiot fighter that's allowed that to happen, then they deserve every licking they get. That's why you've got supervisors and management and trainers. If they can't spot that Gennady's got smaller gloves, then it's not for me to be saying that, is it? So I understand about the small glove scandal, not a scandal for me until it's been raised. Would Billy Joe fight on with Brook's injury? He hadn't been dropped, and in my opinion, seemed premature. Well, Brook was tapping his eye all the time, and he was trying to refocus. I made this as this comment the other night about focus. I was sparring once, and this was a little later in boxing for me. I got whacked to the back of my head in sparring, and I'm telling you, I got hit plenty of times in the chin, not falling down, anything like that, but I got hit in the back of the head, and I'm telling you, I saw double. It's like having a mirror of yourself and then getting another mirror put across you. It was two guys, and the punches coming, and when the punches was coming, I saw it's like two hands coming this way and then two other hands at the top. So so imagine that your vision impaired, you're hurt, you're maybe slightly concussed from the punching Golovkin, and you're trying to work out which Golovkin's actually hitting you. It's one of those situations that if you haven't had blurred vision before and been sparring and had blurred vision, if it hasn't happened to you, it's very hard for you to comprehend what Brook was going through. Now, and the other thing you need to understand or appreciate is that we just had Nick Blackwell. We've lost Nick Blackwell to boxing in terms of him actually being a boxing any further because a fight was not stopped at the right time. So where you may use that word premature, on the back of a recent situation with Nick Blackwell, did you really want another situation like that? Where Blackwell really, at one point, it was evident he was never going to beat Chris Eubank Jr. He was just taking a pounding. So there is that thing about bravery and coming back. But if you go back and look at the tape again, Brook was taking punches after punches after punches, and he wasn't responding. He was just putting his hand out like this. That was not giving no response. So eventually he would have got dropped. And if he's damaged his eye now, imagine what other damage could have been done. It's all well and good with us saying, you know, the stoppage was premature. I think had it been you on the end of those punches, you might want to have been saved as well. So that's my concern on that my situation. And the other thing is, there's nothing to suggest, or there's nothing to say that there's nothing to say that Dominic Ingle said, look, Kell, if I see you in trouble, I'm going to pull you out of the fight. Live to fight another day. So that conversation may be had in the dressing room. So who knows? Do you think the Ingles thought Kell had even a 5% chance, or do you think they realized it was time to get paid well and hopefully get out alive in the process? I think I don't know who they use for sparring. I know they use Liam Smith briefly for sparring, but I just think they just try to get Kell Brook in his best shape as possible, and then just allow Brook to do what he does. There was nothing different strategically in what Brook was doing. Brook did the same thing he always does, fought the same way, backing up against the ropes, not having a clue how to fight off the ropes, you know, basically moving from left to right, but allowing Golovkin to corner him. I mean, Brook did the same thing, but now for a guy who he wasn't able to bully. Those shots that he threw at welterweight and that stuff he did at welterweight doesn't work at middleweight. And there's nothing to suggest it would work at light middleweight either. All these people, yeah, Brook will look great at light middleweight. Really? He didn't look great against Carson Jones in the second fight. And there's one thing about being heroic and doing well. Heroic, he still got beat. He still took a pasting. And the similar thing could happen to him against Canelo. And Canelo puts his punches together as good or even better than Gennady Golovkin. And Canelo doesn't get hit as much as Golovkin does. So nobody knows what Brook's going to have left after that fight. Some people, after they lose their unbeaten record, never come back the same way. I don't see Brook doing the things that some people are suggesting he's going to do at 154. I really don't. And anywhere Kell Brook looks now is trouble. If he goes back down to welterweight, he's got Errol Spence. I think he should take the Errol Spence fight. And I'll tell you why. Errol Spence, there's a lot of hype around Errol Spence, but he's getting nailed by guys who should be getting nailed by. He's getting nailed by Bundu. He pulls straight back from punching his chin in the air. Technically, he's not sound, Errol Spence. He's a good fighter, prospect, but he's not technically sound. He moves in straight lines. He pulls back from straight punches. He gets nailed. He's not defensively responsible. I'd take Kell Brook to have a fight with him. I really would. I'd take that fight. Faster than him fighting Canelo, faster than him fighting Andrade, faster than him fighting Lara, and faster than him fighting the Charlo brothers. Because at least he could still kind of have that physical strength with him. 154, bad move. Sorry. And he said, oh, well, I'll move up. He was doing okay to fight. He was doing well against Vargas, you know. And the other thing about this thing about Brook and the weight, fight more regular. Fight more regular. Fight 3-4 times a year. Do it the Golovkin way. So I think Golovkin struggles at middleweight. So what he does is fight regularly. So he doesn't get too much out of shape. Brook, you watch him. Takes a year before he fights again. We've got to see how he comes back after the injury. That's another thing. How does he do after the injury? I don't know. We saw Naz when he got beat by Barrera. He wasn't the same fighter afterwards. So who knows? Nobody knows really what Brook's going to have left. Nobody knows. Let me just check my Twitter page out a second, because it seems to be going booming at the moment. Let's see. I've got more messages here. Darren Stevenson says, okay, thank you for all your work and insight, Ingram. Shout out to BaylorIC TV Boxing. Shout out to you, Darren. Really appreciated. Please drop your questions in as I'm doing the show. Probably going to go for another 5 or 6 minutes. So if anyone's got any comments or want to ask any questions, feel free. I'm just going to go through my channel, my YouTube channel, my Twitter channel page and have a look. So I'm just going for my Twitter page now. Shout out to Tyson Fury 69, Prolific Genius. Shout out to Prolific Genius. Simpson, shout out to I Am Simpson 007. Shout out to him and giving us a lot of support here on BaylorIC TV. Shout out to Taz, the British Ukrainian who's backing Usyk all the way. Who else are we going to give a shout out to? Mo, got to give Mo a shout out. Mo94, Speed Jab. He was a guy that said to me to contact James Eddie Bashir today, which I did. Jumped straight on it. Shout out to UFC MMA chat tweet. And then we're going to give some other shout outs. While I'm giving the shout, let's see if anybody's left any questions there. Okay. Willie Nelson, Tony Harrison. Yeah, those two. Brook's preparation for GGG was Frankie, Gavin, Donut Dan, and Bizier in the space of 2 years. So how much of that is to do with the promoter and how much is that to do with Brook himself? What do you think? Shaz is saying, what do you think if Tyson's ready for this? What do you think if Fury ready for a fight this time? Let's put it this way. Klitschko won't be any better. In the sense that I think he's going to be a better fight because Klitschko's going to come to fight. But remember, the reason why Klitschko kept getting knocked out was because he was defensively irresponsible. Emmanuel Stewart made him defensively responsible. And now he's, what, 40-something? I mean, Klitschko is not a young man. He's in decline. So I expect Fury to be a better fighter than he was before he became champion. I expect Klitschko to decline further. I just don't see. I see Klitschko giving it one. He's a dangerous man because he's a hungry man. But because of that, he's going to come forward. And because he's going to be coming forward, to me, or, you know, he's going to be coming forward and walking onto shots, which is more likely to get him knocked out. I believe Fury Klitschko 2 starts like from round 10. So let's take round 10, 11, 12. That's how I think the next fight will go. I don't think it goes to points. I think it goes to a knockout. And I think knockout happens between rounds 1 to 6. Honestly, I just can't see that fight going 12 rounds. I think it's going to be an explosive heavyweight fight. There is going to be a lot of other issues around this fight. Fury coming into this fight, you've got to ask yourself the question. He's coming into this fight with the back of a lot of scapegoating from the media, a lot of blackballing, a lot of you know. Fury has made his comments as world heavyweight champion, and when you make comments like he has made, regardless if you agree with him or not, there's a consequence for saying things he says, and he's feeling the wrath of some people higher up. So Fury's got to deal with now this drug allegation that's on him. What a bunch of, I don't understand why this thing is happening now in the middle of his preparations. In the middle of his preparations. Yeah, you know, Klitschko was never pulled up much about the canvas, or pulled up. Pulev tried to pull him up about drug allegations, but he kind of poo-pooed that. But Klitschko's the one telling Fury. Now, it's interesting what Bermain Stavern said about Klitschko. He said that when he was at the negotiating table, he was negotiating with Klitschko, not the governing body. Klitschko had more power than the world governing body of the belts. Klitschko has more power than the sanctioning bodies. If Klitschko's got more power than the sanctioning bodies, can control the gloves, can control the shorts, can control the gum shield, can control the boots that you wear, right? If Klitschko could control that when he was champion, does that not tell you the scope of what this man can possibly do? Does that, because I mean, Bermain came out. I did not expect Bermain to start come out saying things that he did, and he did. So I don't know. I think that there's more to Klitschko than meets the eye. I mean, behind closed doors, he's not the nicest man. And I would love the opportunity to sit down and have a talk to Klitschko about some of these issues. Whether their camp would let me close them or not is another matter altogether. But definitely. Let's see what Darren Stevens says. I see Fury letting Huie take the belt in the 2017 era. Interesting. A very interesting Ruiz versus Huie. First person going in with Huie who will try to win. It's a very good fight. Very good fight. I think Fred Cassie actually had the ambition to win as well. I think Fred Cassie was going for it. And Huie was dominating behind the left jab. And then when Fred Cassie got close, it started getting interesting. The eye was cut and Huie was ill. Let's see what Huie Fury looks like when he's not ill and he's 100% in shape. Andy Ruiz, we know he can punch. Andy Ruiz is unbeaten. Andy Ruiz has got good hand speed. And Huie Fury has got to use that excellent left jab he's got to keep Ruiz honest. He's got to be using left jabs and right hands, tying Ruiz up. He cannot afford Ruiz to get on the inside. The stories are that Huie Fury possesses a great chin. He has had years of stewardship working under Tyson Fury and Peter Fury. He's had time working with all of Tyson Fury's in Tyson Fury's camps. So now really is the time for Huie Fury to stand up and be counted. And Andy Ruiz is a good test. It's a good test. I'll ask yourself the question. Andy Ruiz Jr. was meant to fight the president. I forgot what the president's name is again. He was my favorite fighter in the heavyweight division, and he was going to go back and fight Andy Ruiz. So I don't know if they didn't believe in Andy Ruiz or they were throwing the president to the wolves. I don't know. I never heard nothing about the president since Ikiobuchi. That's the one. Freed Habib says, do you think Huie loss could impact Tyson's performance, seen as though it's on the same card? Dang. Yeah, that could backfire. No, I don't. I think Tyson's mentally strong enough. He's a very mentally strong man, and I actually believe Huie wins this fight. I think he's the better boxer. I think first and foremost, I'm going to go into Huey's pedigree as an amateur, so I'm going to go with Huie Fury winning this fight, busting Ruiz up with the jab, and maybe mid to late stoppage of Ruiz. Gonna be a good fight. How do you see Golovkin Usyk going? Great question. Foul pole boxing. If you're from Poland and you're asking the question, then you're not gonna like my answer. If you're from the Ukraine and an Usyk supporter, you might like my answer. I see the fight going like this. Golovkin, his performances still are questionable. If you hear me out, his fight against Marco Huie was struggling at the weight and did not do the weight correctly coming into camp and was weight drained. Chicago, yes, Chicago, love Chicago. Was there recently, beautiful place. And Huie was, for me, weight drained. And you saw in the later rounds he had nothing to offer. So Golovkin was able to come back, get off the canvas, and knock Huie out. Huie didn't do himself any favors, pulling him straight back from punches. I don't think Huck's a great boxer, but he's tough, durable, and has got big punching power. So much so he went up to the heavyweight division and caused Povetkin all sorts of problems, and I thought he beat Povetkin, in my personal opinion. Usyk hasn't proven it yet as a professional. Done a lot in the amateurs, but it's only a matter of time, I think, for Usyk. Hits well with either hand, fights well. I think Golovkin's going to... It also depends on the ring. I want to see what this ring looks like. I think that the ring's going to be key in this fight because Golovkin is going to have to close the range down on Usyk and make it a phone booth type of fight. Do we know a lot about Usyk's chin? According to Bashir, he takes a heck of a shot, and we do know that he beat up Joe Joyce. He beat up the heavyweight Joe Joyce, so that'll tell you something. So I'm going with Usyk, and I think he's going to stop Golovkin. I think he's going to stop him. And then Golovkin didn't look great against Cunningham, although he dropped Cunningham because Cunningham didn't box with any damn game plan. I don't know what Cunningham was trying to do. And later on in the fight, Cunningham was coming into his own. Not sounding good. No, you're definitely Polish, right? Tell me you're Polish. If Usyk was in the glamour division, would he have the same courage, hype as Lomachenko, Gennady Golovkin, and Kovalev? Well, my answer to you is this. You all know what Evander Holyfield did as a cruiserweight, right? I have no doubts whatsoever that if Usyk goes on and beats Kovacsky and beats Huck, there is no doubt in my mind he moves up to heavyweight, which is a glamour division. And you saw him beat up Joe Joyce. Usyk will be a handful at heavyweight. Evander was juiced to the gills, says Leslie Scott. Kovacsky wins. Okay. Oh dear. Yeah. There we go. That's the end of that. Polish American. Well, I guess you would have been watching when Bryant Jennings fought Svilka. Usyk maybe too small as a heavyweight. Really? See that big Joe Joyce is? He beat the crap out of Joyce. I don't believe size has got anything to do with it. Footwork is key. Footwork is key. And his hand. Look, okay. I just gave you an example just a minute ago of Marco Huck, who beat up Povetkin. I don't think Mike Tyson was 5'11". I don't get why people say about small heavyweights. Mike Tyson was 5'11". Usyk is 6'3". Mike was knocking out heavyweight 6'5", 6'6". I don't buy that one about Usyk being too small. I think he'd be big enough. Evander Holyfield was what? 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", came from the cruiserweight division, dropped Riddick Bowe. There we go. Dropped Riddick Bowe hard as well. Okay? There were heavyweights that couldn't drop Riddick Bowe. Andrew Golota couldn't drop Riddick Bowe unless it was a... Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just mentioned Andrew Golota there. But Riddick Bowe got dropped by Golota from low blows. And he's a big, strong heavyweight. So I think it's not about so much the size, it's about what you do with it. And I think Usyk is bigger than Golovkin, and he certainly he carries power, and it looks to me Golovkin will drag him into a deep water and then see whose power lasts. Good point. I think Usyk is gonna about 100 low blows. I think Usyk is going to come out bombing. Golota grip Bowe twice in their second fight. Yeah. Usyk v. Hay, battle of the cruiserweight kings at heavyweight. Yeah, he dropped him with low blows. Usyk versus Hay. Usyk. I mean, you're getting dropped by John Mulmick. I mean, Hay versus Cunningham. Let's talk about that fight. How had Hay done against Cunningham? You know, Hay didn't do much in the cruiserweight division. He won what? He fought against, what's his name? He beat Macronelli and he beat Mormac, but he never fought the cruiserweight man king there, which was Cunningham. So I'd like to see how he did. No legit knockdowns before the low blow. Oh, was it? Okay. I'll have to go back and watch the second fight. But my point is, I think Usyk is big enough to do damage at the heavyweight division. Definitely big enough to do damage in the heavyweight division. Yeah. I wasn't actually expecting to be on so long. But for those of you who joined in, who's just tuned in, I've just done an unboxing of this new webcam. It's a webcam, a HD 1080. And I've unboxed it so you guys can see the new HD version. And tell me what you guys and girls out there think. It's definitely improvement for us. And I got it on the market for £40. Well, I didn't get it. My dad got it. Correction, £40. And I've got to say, this camera is much better than the what's the company's name again? Oh, not Microsoft. Logitech. The Logitech 930. This is much better than Logitech 930 by a billions %. So I don't think anyone stopped Bo. That's how much of a bad MF he was. Yeah, I think Holyfield came close to stopping him in that third fight. He had him down and had him badly hurt in the third fight. I agree, Usyk and go heavyweight if his chin is what you say it is. We're saying he's got a great chin. We're going to find out. But I can tell you something. Uncle Bashir was talking about Usyk boxing and trying to take out Golovkin late in the fight. I actually think they're going to do a lot of moving, but I think he's going to be hitting with some serious power. Usyk knows that he's in Poland. Usyk knows it's an Al Heyman fight he's fighting against. Usyk knows the judges won't be on his side. So this is going to be a banging fight. And didn't stop him though, mate. No, he didn't. Good point. Holyfield didn't stop him, but he was close to stopping him. I assure you, if he'd fought Lennox Lewis, there'd have been stoppage in that fight. Yeah, I'm going to come to the end of this. Beverly O'Neill, you know me. Do I? Sky picked up the fight. Be good to watch Usyk not on a stream. Yeah. I spoke to Tom Loeffler and I mentioned to Tom that we weren't able to see the fight on in the UK. He must have gone back to Eddie Hearn and got it sorted. We ain't getting Golovkin Usyk in the States. Well, they get the stream. Get the stream on Sky Sports. Why not? It's a live stream. I bet you, haha, legitimately that is, I love you. Right. Okay, Beverly. See, the thing is, when you don't see a face, it could be male or female. Liam Smith. You're confusing me now, Beverly. I'm starting to get concerned. What's black and blue and smells of sex? Me? Tell me. Sky building Bellew Usyk. He's going over on commentary, I believe. Yeah, well, duck him up. That's terrible, Sonny. That's absolutely terrible. That's absolutely disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. Ducks love you. Ducks love me. Okay, you're a bit cryptic now, Beverly. Yeah, well, Tony Bellew's gone as far as he can go, I think. Well, Tony Bellew will have plenty of information. I've sent him enough messages via direct messages and sent me enough videos on Usyk. So we'll see. Boxing needs O'Hara Davis. Yeah, O'Hara Davis, Conor Benn, they're guys that need to. Conor Benn, O'Hara Davis, and Anthony Yard, 3 fighters that need that look promising, tasty. But we'll see what happens when they get hit back on the chin and some resistance. When they start getting resistance, we have to see. Okay, Beverly. Where are you from, Beverly? I think Bashir said, huge Bellew fan as well, mate. He beat Cleverly in the first fight. Yeah, I thought so. Who do you think wins between Williams and Patterson? I couldn't answer that question. Sorry. Where are you from, Beverly? Bellew. I'm looking forward to Bellew versus Flores. I hope that it's I hope it's an exciting fight. I hope that it's not just Bellew talking and get a boring 12-round fight. But it actually goes out there and gives it a real go. Liam Williams. Okay, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know much about that fight. I'm sorry. Bellew, you will get beat next fight. Well, let's see. Okay. I haven't seen you for a while, by the way. Duck him up. What does that mean? What does duck him up mean, please, Beverly? By the way, just want to say thank you as well to you, the boxing fans out there watching BaylorIC TV, watching the channel, watching the interviews. Love the support, appreciate it. I want to say a massive thank you to when we do our live shows. Our last live show before the Pacquiao one was 40,000. The Brook Golovkin was 20,000. And how many rounds did you give Brook? I think I gave Brook. I think I gave him up to 5. I think inside 5. I think, or inside 4. But I didn't believe he'd beat Gennady Golovkin. Sorry. I gave 1. It almost happened. It almost ended in 1, to be honest. Right. I also need to give some special shout outs to some very special people across the BaylorIC universe family. Clifton Benton. Sir, Professor Benton, thank you so much for supporting BaylorIC TV. I appreciate your support, your encouragement, and your love. So shout out to him for that. Shout out, Clifton. You're a star. Next, Lucy Marshall. Shout out to Lucy. Always supportive, always encouraging, and champion supporter. Shout out to who else? Got a few other shout outs to do. I think I've done some shout outs early. Doreen West. Shout out to Dorina West. Big Ali Bashir fan and big supporter of BaylorIC TV. So shout out to her. And of course, got to give a huge shout out to Huie, Ukrainian boxing news, which is on Twitter. Our interview, or our exclusive interview of Alexander Usyk, which you can see on the channel. was in the Telegraph of the Ukrainian newspapers. So it was the Ukrainian version of the Telegraph, so online. So that was a real moment that I really appreciate. And I also appreciate the fact that our interviews with Bashir and Tom Loeffler and Alexander himself are translated into Ukrainian, which is a real shout out. I really appreciate that. And our coverage was also done on boxingscene.com. So shout out to boxingscene.com as well for their support. Shout out to you, mate. Good channel. Thank you very much. Right. I'm starting to wonder, Beverly, if you actually are Tyson Fury is the king of men. He probably is. Right. Right. I will add this point before I finish, and it's on Lee Selby. I'm telling you all now, and I'm going to keep on telling you, Lee Selby is technically flawed. Lee Selby throws punches like this and leaves his chin in the air and pulls straight back from shots. Eventually, somebody's going to catch him with a left hook and knock him out. I'm telling you. At the higher level, Gary Russell Jr. possibly, you can't be leaving your chin in the air. Lee Selby is a knockout waiting to happen. You've heard me say it right here. And I want to say a special shout out to Stewie Hall, who recently fought for the world title against Lee Haskins. I thought the scorecard was absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I thought Stewie Hall had a good chance of winning the world title, but there was no way those scorecards were correct. Just a total injustice. But and that's the sort of thing that really hurts boxing. So we'll close on that note. Thank you all for tuning in to watch my random show. I really didn't have any intention of doing it, but I wanted to give tribute to Uncle Bashir. I hope that he's been a great wisdom. I love chicken. No, I don't. I'm a vegetarian. Sorry. Massive shout out to Uncle Bashir. He's tutored me in the last 3 years of boxing, and he's helped a lot in building my knowledge of the sport. And I really appreciate James Ali Bashir. So thank you so much, Uncle, and thank you all for tuning in to BaylorIC TV. This has been Ingram Jones. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribing. We now have an HD. HD, can you believe it? We're in HD. Oh, progress. This is Ingram Jones from BaylorIC TV. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Take care.